Have you ever noticed how people chase after grand moments, rare sights, and extraordinary experiences, believing that beauty only exists in something spectacular? Yet the truth is, the most profound beauty often hides in the simplest corners of life, in the rhythm of breath, the sound of morning birds, the touch of sunlight on your skin, or even the smile of a stranger. The ordinary is not dull, it is a sacred masterpiece constantly unfolding before you. The problem is not with life, it is with our eyes that have forgotten how to truly see. When the mind becomes still and stops running after the next moment, a new dimension of seeing opens up. The ordinary things that were once ignored begin to shine with quiet brilliance. A simple breeze feels alive, the rhythm of your own breath feels sacred, and the smallest detail in your surroundings begins to pulse with meaning. The beauty of life is not hidden somewhere far away, it is woven into every instant that you allow yourself to truly witness. Awareness itself becomes the light through which the world glows. Awareness is the creator of beauty. When attention is scattered, nothing feels special, but when attention is total, even the smallest moment turns luminous. Gratitude deepens this perception. When you are thankful for the smallest things, the warmth of sunlight, the taste of water, the sound of laughter, the ordinary becomes divine. Life stops feeling like a burden to manage and starts feeling like a sacred gift to experience. Gratitude clears the dust from your eyes so you can see what has always been there. Silence is another doorway. In moments of stillness, life speaks its own language. Every sound, every movement, every touch becomes poetry. You begin to notice the subtleties of existence, how light dances, how wind hums, how time breathes. When you are quiet inside, the world reveals its hidden harmony. Comparison fades away, you no longer measure life by what others have. You simply live, and in that living, you discover depth in everything. Simplicity holds the essence of beauty. Complexity distracts the mind, but simplicity connects you back to what is real. In simple acts, walking, listening, eating, when done with total mindfulness, an ordinary moment turns into meditation. Life becomes an unfolding rhythm of awareness where every action, no matter how small, carries grace. The smallest flower, the faintest sound, or the subtlest emotion begins to hold meaning when seen through the eyes of presence. When the inner world becomes still and clear, the outer world reflects that serenity. Beauty is not something to be found outside, it blossoms from within. Every heartbeat, every breath, every act of existence becomes a reminder that life itself is the miracle. To see beauty in the ordinary is to live awake, to recognize that everything is alive, vibrant, and worthy of wonder. The miracle is not somewhere else, it is happening right now, within and all around you. Beauty is not something that lives in objects, it lives in the way you see them. When your awareness is sharp and present, even the most ordinary things begin to reveal an unseen depth. The dull stone, the quiet street, the worn-out cup. All begin to shine with a hidden essence when looked at through the lens of true attention. The beauty you seek outside is only a reflection of the awareness you carry within. As your perception expands, life itself begins to glow in its raw, untouched form. When awareness deepens, you stop seeing with your eyes alone and start feeling with your whole being. You sense the energy that flows through everything, the pulse of life that connects every form, every sound, every color. The world no longer appears fragmented, it becomes one living organism breathing with you. Every sight becomes a revelation, every moment a meditation. Awareness opens the inner eye and suddenly even silence becomes a song. The ordinary loses its meaning when awareness enters. There is no ordinary or extraordinary anymore, there is only the experience of existence. Awareness removes the layers of judgment, comparison, and habit that blur vision. You stop naming things as beautiful or ugly and begin to see them as they truly are. In that seeing, you encounter purity. This is where real beauty is born, not from perfection, but from presence. Awareness refines the senses and purifies perception. You begin to notice the fragrance in still air, the rhythm in chaos, and the gentleness in every motion. The smallest things start to speak in subtle ways, and every experience becomes richer. You do not need to seek beauty anymore, because beauty is what remains when awareness dissolves all distractions. The clearer you are inside, the more beautiful the outside becomes. As your awareness grows, life stops being a series of separate moments and becomes one seamless flow. There is no effort in seeing beauty, it becomes your natural way of being. The more you awaken to this truth, the more you realize that beauty was never hiding. It was your awareness that was asleep. Once awakened, even a simple breath, a shadow on the wall, or the sound of your heartbeat becomes an expression of the infinite artistry of existence. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it is a way of seeing life. When the heart learns to acknowledge even the smallest blessings, life begins to unfold in a completely different light. The air you breathe, the food you eat, the warmth that touches your skin, all these simple experiences start to hold a quiet magic. Gratitude awakens the senses and reveals that nothing is truly small. Everything you take for granted becomes a gift waiting to be recognized. It is not life that changes, it is the way you perceive it that transforms everything. When gratitude enters the mind, complaint disappears. The same world that once felt dull becomes full of wonder and meaning. You no longer look at what is missing, you begin to notice the abundance that surrounds you. A single drop of rain becomes poetry, a small act of kindness becomes a miracle, and even pain starts to carry a silent lesson. Gratitude turns every ordinary day into a celebration of being alive. It creates a shift from desire to appreciation, from restlessness to contentment. This transformation does not come from words or forced positivity, it comes from awareness. When you truly see how fragile and precious every moment is, gratitude arises naturally. You stop demanding perfection from life and begin to receive it as it is, imperfect, unpredictable, and yet profoundly beautiful. Gratitude softens the mind, opens the heart, and makes even struggle feel sacred. What once looked like a burden begins to feel like a teacher guiding you toward deeper understanding. Gratitude is not about denying pain or pretending everything is fine. It is about recognizing that even within pain, there is a spark of life that deserves reverence. When you face challenges with a grateful heart, strength grows quietly within you. The same event that could break you begins to shape you into something more aware, more humble, more alive. Gratitude doesn't change the situation, it changes the one who experiences it. Through that change, the entire world feels renewed. A grateful mind becomes a clear mirror that reflects beauty in every direction. When you carry gratitude in your breath, every sight, sound, and touch becomes a reminder of the miracle of existence. The ordinary world turns luminous because you are finally awake to its depth. Life no longer feels like a struggle to survive, it feels like a blessing to experience. Gratitude transforms vision, and with that vision, you begin to see that the divine has always been hiding in the ordinary moments you once overlooked. Silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of awareness. When the noise of thought begins to settle, a deeper rhythm of existence starts to emerge. In that stillness, life reveals itself with greater clarity. The movement of wind, the rustle of leaves, the beating of your own heart, all begin to speak in a language beyond words. Silence does not take you away from life, it takes you closer to its essence. It allows you to experience everything without interference, without distortion, without the restless chatter of the mind. In silence, perception becomes sharper and more alive. You start noticing details that were always there but drowned beneath the noise of constant thinking. Every sound becomes distinct, every movement holds meaning, and every breath carries a quiet intensity. When you stop trying to control or define what you experience, you begin to see things as they truly are. The beauty of silence is that it cleanses perception, it washes away the fog of opinion and reveals reality in its raw, untouched form. The depth of silence lies in its power to make you aware of yourself. When external noise fades, you are confronted with your inner world, your thoughts, emotions, fears and desires. This confrontation is not always comfortable, yet it is necessary. Through silence, you begin to understand the nature of your mind. You realize that peace does not come from fixing the outside world, but from mastering the noise within. In that realization, silence becomes your greatest teacher. In silent awareness, even the smallest things transform into profound experiences. Watching the sunrise, listening to rain, or simply sitting without movement turns into meditation. You start to sense the harmony in every part of creation, the quiet balance that sustains everything. Silence connects you to that unseen order. It reminds you that beyond chaos, beyond struggle, there is an eternal calm that never wavers. When silence becomes part of your being, life no longer feels fragmented. Words lose their dominance and presence takes over. You no longer react, you respond. You no longer rush, you move with awareness. Silence awakens the intelligence of existence within you. It does not make you distant from the world, it makes you one with it. In that union, even the ordinary moments carry a sacred depth that words can never capture. Comparison is a silent poison that corrodes the mind. It blinds you from seeing what is truly yours and traps you in the illusion of someone else's life. When you measure your worth through the lens of another person's achievements, possessions or status, you lose touch with your own essence. The more you compare, the more you disconnect from the richness of your own journey. Life was never meant to be a race, it was meant to be an unfolding of unique expressions, each beautiful in its own rhythm and pace. The mind that compares is never at peace. It constantly oscillates between superiority and inferiority, pride and envy, satisfaction and disappointment. Such a mind can never know contentment because it is always seeking validation through the outside world. The moment you stop comparing, a deep silence arises inside you. A silence that feels complete, not because you have everything, but because you finally see that nothing is missing. Freedom from comparison is freedom from inner conflict. When you detach from comparison, self-awareness begins to blossom. You start noticing your own growth, your own lessons and your own strengths without needing to measure them against anyone else. Your focus shifts from competition to creation. You begin to celebrate your individuality and honor your path. Every person's journey is shaped by different struggles and blessings, and when you accept this truth, judgment fades away. What remains is appreciation of yourself and of others. Comparison makes you chase shadows while ignoring the light that already exists within. It keeps you trapped in constant dissatisfaction, always searching for something more. When you stop feeding that hunger, you begin to see the beauty of simplicity. Your life in its unfiltered form becomes enough. You realize that peace is not in becoming someone else, but in fully being who you are. The moment you embrace your authenticity, you rise above the endless noise of comparison. Detachment from comparison brings clarity, strength and serenity. You start to live with purpose rather than performance. Success no longer means outshining others, it means expressing your truth with depth and integrity. When comparison dissolves, gratitude takes its place. You begin to experience life as it is, abundant, complete, and perfectly timed. The richness you were seeking in others' lives was always waiting within your own. Nature is not merely a backdrop to life, it is a living teacher that reflects the truth of existence. Every leaf, every raindrop, every gust of wind carries a lesson if you are willing to see it. The patterns in the trees, the rhythm of waves, the flight of birds, all mirror the cycles, the balance and the harmony that exist within and around you. Nature does not rush or compete, it simply is. In observing it closely, you begin to understand that beauty is not a goal to achieve, but a quality that emerges when you align yourself with the flow of life. The subtleties of nature are often overlooked because the mind is too busy to notice. Yet the gentle rustle of leaves, the soft touch of sunlight, or the quiet ripple of water can awaken a sense of wonder unlike anything else. These ordinary moments reveal that beauty is not always loud or grand, it is subtle, pervasive and patient. When you attune yourself to the small movements of nature, you start to see the extraordinary hidden in the simplest forms. Every moment outside carries the imprint of creation, waiting for your attention to bring it to life. Nature is a mirror of your inner state. When your mind is restless, the world feels chaotic. When your mind is calm, even storms can appear graceful. Observing nature teaches you how to harmonize with its rhythm rather than resist it. Seasons change, rivers flow, trees grow and shed their leaves. Everything follows its natural course. By aligning with this flow, you realize that life too unfolds with its own timing. The beauty of nature reminds you that everything has a place, a purpose, and a pace that cannot be forced or ignored. Every aspect of nature holds lessons in impermanence and renewal. Flowers bloom and wither, clouds gather and disperse, rain falls and nourishes the earth, all cycles that mirror the transient yet purposeful nature of life itself. When you witness these patterns, you learn to appreciate the fleeting moments rather than cling to permanence. Nature demonstrates that change is not loss, it is transformation, and within transformation lies profound beauty. The ordinary acts of nature, when observed deeply, reveal wisdom that the mind alone cannot invent. By observing nature closely, you begin to see connections everywhere. The growth of a tree mirrors your own inner development, the flow of a river reflects the movement of your emotions, and the patterns in the sky echo the infinite possibilities within you. Nature's simplicity holds an unparalleled richness, a silent guidance that teaches you to see without judgment, to feel without resistance, and to exist without constant striving. In this mirror, you recognize that beauty is never separate from life, it is woven into every form, every moment, every breath. Every action, no matter how small, carries the potential to become a doorway to awareness when performed with complete attention. Drinking a cup of tea, walking along a street, washing dishes, or even tying your shoes can be transformed from a mechanical routine into a living experience. The mind that rushes through these moments misses everything, but the mind that is fully present discovers layers of depth, rhythm, and sensation in even the simplest acts. Each movement becomes a conversation between the body, mind, and the world around you. Mindfulness turns repetition into discovery. When you pay total attention, you notice details that were invisible before. The warmth of the tea in your hands, the sound of your steps against the ground, the subtle shifts in your breath, all these small elements suddenly acquire significance. Ordinary moments stop being ordinary, they reveal textures, patterns, and subtleties that are often overlooked. Through this focused presence, life becomes richer and more vibrant without changing anything external. When you engage in action with awareness, your mind stops wandering into regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. Your energy becomes fully available to the present moment, and in that moment, you find clarity. Ordinary tasks transform into exercises of presence, grounding you in the flow of life. Even the most mundane activities, when performed mindfully, carry a sense of completeness and satisfaction that cannot be found through distraction or haste. Mindful action teaches patience and attention. It trains the mind to observe without judgment and to experience without interference. When you approach each task with deliberate awareness, the act itself becomes meditative and your inner world begins to reflect the calm and focus you bring to it. You start to see that the richness of life is not in grand achievements but in the depth of how you engage with each passing moment. Through continuous mindfulness in every action, the boundary between the ordinary and the extraordinary begins to dissolve. What was once overlooked now appears alive with meaning. Every gesture, every motion, every task becomes a practice of presence and discovery. You realize that the quality of your life is determined not by what you do, but by how fully you inhabit the moments of doing. Ordinary life, when observed with total attention, becomes a profound meditation on existence itself. Simplicity is not the absence of complexity, it is the clarity that emerges when the mind stops chasing unnecessary distractions. Life often becomes heavy because we pile on expectations, possessions and obligations, believing they will bring fulfillment. Yet the more we accumulate, the more we lose touch with the essential rhythm of existence. When you strip life down to its fundamental elements, you begin to feel a sense of lightness and freedom that no external achievement can provide. Simplicity restores a connection to what truly matters and allows the mind to settle into its natural calm. In simplicity, the senses awaken to subtler dimensions of experience. When the clutter is removed, you notice the texture of the air, the quality of light, the sound of distant movement, and the quiet pulse of your own body. Ordinary moments, when approached simply and attentively, reveal layers of beauty that were always present but unnoticed. The mind becomes a clear mirror, reflecting reality as it is rather than as it is filtered through distraction and desire. Simplicity is the space in which perception sharpens and awareness deepens. Simplicity brings focus. When unnecessary complexity is shed, energy that was scattered across multiple directions becomes concentrated. Decisions become easier, priorities become visible, and actions acquire clarity and precision. The mind no longer struggles to juggle 1,000 trivialities, but instead channels its strength into what is meaningful. This clarity allows for creativity, insight, and deeper understanding to emerge naturally. Life stops feeling like a battle with circumstances and begins to feel like a flowing process guided by awareness. Simplicity also cultivates inner peace. When the mind is not weighed down by excess, it experiences calmness that is not dependent on external conditions. The heart feels light, the body feels unburdened, and the spirit feels aligned. This state of being allows challenges to be faced with resilience and equanimity because the mind is not distracted by unnecessary noise. In simplicity, every moment feels more coherent, more vibrant, and more fully alive. Simplicity reveals the essence of existence. It strips away pretense, distraction, and artificial complexity, allowing the core of life to shine through. In this clarity, you rediscover what is real and valuable: the quiet moments, the natural rhythms, and the small joys that were always present but ignored. The ordinary becomes extraordinary because it is seen without distortion, and peace arises naturally when the mind aligns with the fundamental truths of life. Every moment of life carries its own quiet miracle whether or not it is noticed. The simple act of breathing, the steady rhythm of your heartbeat, or the fact that your body functions without effort are all signs of a deeper intelligence at work. These are not ordinary occurrences, they are extraordinary gifts that sustain your existence. When attention is given to these small yet profound realities, a sense of wonder begins to emerge, awakening the mind to the sacredness woven into daily life. Miracles exist not only in grand events, but in the continuity of life itself. The rising and setting of the sun, the cycle of seasons, and the unseen processes that keep the world turning are constant reminders that life is operating in perfect harmony. Recognizing these patterns creates a connection to something larger than oneself, a reminder that every moment is part of a vast, intricate design. Awareness of these everyday miracles brings depth to perception and transforms the way ordinary experiences are felt and valued. When you pay attention to the smallest aspects of existence, life begins to reveal hidden layers of beauty. The warmth of sunlight on your skin, the gentle touch of wind, or the sound of distant water becomes a testament to the extraordinary nature of what is usually taken for granted. These moments do not require grandeur to impress, their significance lies in their subtlety and consistency. A mind attuned to these details begins to see that miracles are not exceptions, but the essence of life itself. Awareness of everyday miracles cultivates gratitude and humility. When you recognize that even the simplest functions of your body, the beat of your heart, or the breath that fills your lungs are not automatic achievements but gifts, a profound appreciation arises. Life no longer appears mundane or repetitive because every moment is infused with significance. This perspective shifts the focus from seeking extraordinary events to seeing the extraordinary in what already exists. The recognition of these miracles transforms existence from routine to sacred. Each heartbeat, each breath, each interaction with the world becomes an opportunity to witness life's wonder. The ordinary ceases to be overlooked and becomes a canvas for awe and reflection. By seeing the miraculous in everyday life, you awaken a sense of presence, reverence, and connection that turns the simplest of moments into profound experiences of being alive. Inner stillness is not a state that happens by chance. It is cultivated through awareness and conscious effort. When the mind stops reacting to every external disturbance and ceases its constant chatter, a space opens within you. This space allows clarity to arise and a deeper connection to life to emerge. In that quiet center, the turbulence of the outer world no longer dictates your perception. Calmness becomes the lens through which everything is experienced, and even the most chaotic situations begin to reveal order and meaning. Seeing beauty in the ordinary is not a talent, it is a remembrance. A remembrance that life itself is an extraordinary expression of existence. Every breath, every moment, every encounter is drenched in wonder if you allow your eyes, heart and soul to be open. Stop waiting for something special to happen, life itself is special enough. The ordinary is not ordinary, it is the miracle you've been overlooking all along.